My name is Sarah, and I'm 36 years old. I've been married to Mark for 14 years. He's my best friend, my partner, and the father of our two beautiful children, Emily, who's 12, and little Noah, just 4. We live in a cozy home in the suburbs, a quiet neighborhood where everyone knows each other. Mark works as a manager at a local company, while I'm a stay-at-home mom, taking care of the kids and managing our home. For the longest time, our life seemed perfect. We were content, or so I thought. We had our little routines, our laughs, and we always managed to make things work, no matter the challenges life threw at us. But little did I know, everything was about to change in ways I never could have imagined. It all started with a gut feeling. For weeks, I had noticed small changes in Mark's behavior. He was distant, less affectionate, and often came home late from work, claiming he had extra meetings. At first, I brushed it off, thinking I was overthinking things. But then, one evening, while I was folding laundry, I found a message on his phone. It was not meant for my eyes, but I could not ignore it. The message was from a woman named Lisa, someone I had never heard him mention before. The words in that text hit me like a punch to the stomach. "Can't wait to see you tonight, Mark. I miss you so much." My heart raced. I did not know what to do, so I waited for him to come home. When he walked in, I was trembling with fear and anger. I asked him straight out, "Mark, is there someone else?" At first, he looked stunned, then angry. He denied everything, telling me I was imagining things and that I was just being paranoid. He said it was nothing, just a misunderstanding. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The more I asked, the more defensive he became. He shouted, "You're making a big deal out of nothing." But I couldn't shake the feeling that everything I feared was true. I couldn't just let it go. I needed to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and suspicion. I started checking Mark's phone whenever he left it unattended. One evening, after he had gone to bed, I went through his messages. That's when I found more messages, photos, and phone records, evidence that confirmed my worst fears. Lisa wasn't just some friend, she was someone he'd been seeing for months. The texts were filled with intimate words, plans to meet up and promises to be together. I also found her name in his call log. She had called him countless times, more than I could count. Late at night, during lunch breaks, whenever he thought I wouldn't notice. I needed to confront him again, but this time, I was prepared. I called the number and a woman answered. Her voice was calm, almost too calm, as if she knew exactly who I was. She didn't care that I was his wife. "Mark is with me now," she said flatly. "You should have seen it coming." It felt like my world shattered in that moment, and I knew, without a doubt, that my husband had been lying to me. The pain hit me like a tidal wave. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and utterly broken. I couldn't stop crying, even when I tried to hold it together for the kids. Emily sensed something was wrong, her usual bright smile replaced with worry. She asked me over and over what was going on, but I couldn't find the words to explain. Little Noah, blissfully unaware, ran around playing, and unaware of the cracks forming in our family. But I knew it was only a matter of time before he'd feel the change too. Mark's response to everything only made it worse. When I confronted him again, he was cold and dismissive. "You're blowing things out of proportion," he said, as though I was the one creating the problem. His dismissiveness turned to control when I tried to talk to him. He started staying out longer, telling me it was for work, but I knew it wasn't. He would get angry when I asked questions, telling me I was suffocating him. "Stop asking about Lisa. You need to trust me. he would say, but his words meant nothing. I realized then that he wasn't just cheating on me. He was trying to control my emotions, my reactions, even my reality. It was like living with a stranger, and the worst part was, I felt completely alone. As if the emotional pain wasn't enough, Mark's betrayal started to impact our finances. He was spending money, more than we could afford, on his affair with Lisa, fancy dinners, weekend getaways, gifts, everything we could no longer afford. I began noticing bills piling up, and I started looking more closely at our accounts. There were charges for things I didn't recognize, things that didn't fit with the life we'd built together. He had been draining our savings, and I couldn't understand why. We still had a mortgage to pay, car loans, and everyday expenses for the kids. With me staying home to care for them, we relied on Mark's salary to get by. But now, I wasn't sure how long we could make ends meet. Every conversation about money ended with him brushing it off, telling me to stop worrying. But how could I not? I felt trapped, not just by his actions, but by the financial strain he was putting on our entire family. The stress started to take a heavy toll on me. I couldn't sleep at night, tossing and turning, haunted by thoughts of Mark's betrayal. I was constantly exhausted, but no matter how much I tried to rest, my mind wouldn't let me. My appetite disappeared, and I began losing weight. At times I felt dizzy, unable to focus on anything but the pain inside me. I finally went to the doctor, who told me I was experiencing severe stress. "You need to take care of yourself," he said. But how could I when everything felt like it was falling apart? Emily, too, was affected. I could see the sadness in her eyes every time she looked at Mark. She used to be so full of life, but now she barely smiled. She withdrew from her friends, didn't want to talk about anything. I could feel her confusion and hurt, and it broke my heart even more. Our family was falling apart, and I couldn't stop it. I turned to my friends and family for advice, hoping for guidance. My best friend told me, "You deserve better, Sarah. You don't have to stay." My parents urged me to be strong and patient, saying maybe Mark will change. But inside, I was torn. Part of me wanted to leave, to protect myself and the kids from the hurt he was causing, but another part of me feared the unknown. How would we survive without him? I needed his income, his support. I felt trapped between love and self-preservation, unsure which path was right. Even after everything, a small part of me still hoped Mark would change. I loved him, and I wanted to believe that the man I married, the man who once promised to always be there for me, could come back. I wanted to believe he could see the pain he was causing, that he would come to his senses and choose us. That every day that hope grew weaker. I felt like I was begging for something that would never happen. I tried to hold on for Emily and Noah, but I was losing myself in the process. I was exhausted, emotionally, physically, and mentally. I didn't know how much longer I could keep pretending everything was fine, when deep down I felt more and more like I was sinking into an endless abyss. If you found this story meaningful, or if you're going through something similar, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.